Well, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've had this thing for a couple of weeks now, but this is my first time showing it on YouTube. This is my 2023 Subaru Impreza 5-door. I'm only kidding, this is a 2017, but I could tell you it's a 2023 and you'd probably believe me unless you knew a lot about these cars. To the untrained eye, it looks like a 2017 or 2023 Impreza, and you wouldn't know the difference between the years, but I do, and I'm going to change some things to make it look a little newer. Firstly, the front bumper has some scrapes, and this plate constantly has to be re-screwed in every once in a while because it doesn't hold its shape, and there's some damage to the front grille. So this front bumper may get replaced with a 2020 and newer front bumper. I'll put a picture in now of what it looks like. It does look quite different from this one, and I think it looks a lot better too. Now, something that I like about the 2017 to 2018 ones is that if you got the alloy wheel package, which this one has here, you got the 16-inch alloy wheels painted in silver. If you got a 2019 and newer, they're painted black with some silver trim here. And they were the exact same wheels, but this inner area was painted black, and I didn't like how it looked. And so one thing I looked for was a 2017 to 2018, if I got the alloy wheels, that they would be painted in silver. It'd be fine with the base and any trim. I just really don't like black and silver wheels that much. I much prefer all silver, and this has exactly what I wanted. This one also has the roof rails on top. Something different between these rails and the crossbar rails. Something different between these rails and the Crosstrek rails, as the Crosstrek has black or gunmetal gray rails. These are silver. So you may be wondering, how much did I pay for this car and how many miles are on it? So this is the 2017 Impreza 5-door. It has 99,280 miles on it now, but when I bought it, it had 97,979 miles. I am not kidding. And I got it for $10,000 flat, but that's not without its problems. This mirror was painted in white. That mirror was black, and they looked a little odd. So I took the white mirror cap off and painted it black. Secondly, it had some Michelin Defender tires on it from 2019. The tread was awesome. They looked great until you got up close and the entire sidewall was full of dry rot, which kind of scared me driving home 30 miles picking this thing up. So the very next day I put new tires on it, and because I really don't need these tires to last too long, these are about 30,000 mile tires, I got these for now, and they're good enough for what I need. And I needed cheap tire. I need fast tires. I put these tires on all my Camrys. I've loved them every single time, but don't worry, I will be getting better tires in the coming months to a year. I would like to get Falcon Wild Peaks or Michelin Defenders would be my preferred choice. Something you may notice is how nice these headlights look. It's because the 2017 to 2019 models were in a recall in 2022 for new headlights. So this has new headlights that are only 3 years old. You can see this one does not have the fog lights. I do not care for fog lights. I've had 2 cars with fog lights. They've been completely useless, so I personally don't care about those. You can see the other mirror cap here. This is correct color, that one is not. But from a distance, you can't really tell. You may notice I do not have eyesight, and that's because the base does not come with eyesight. Not until 2020 anyway. Something you may have noticed are the taillights. If you know anything about these cars, you'll know that the 2020 to 2023 model years had dark gray taillights, and these were bright white clear ones for the 2017 and 19. I did not like how that looked. So I decided to get a tint overlay from Crux Motorsports. I'll put a link in the description down below. That made these dark, and now it looks like an updated one, so I didn't have to spend $200 for the nice looking lights. You may also notice my badges of ownership. I got these the same day I got the car, and they were in my house 3 days later. I also got new plates. That's just something I felt like I had to do. And the front one wasn't in very good condition either, so that was a good reason to replace it. You may also notice it has a backup camera. Yeah, it's nice to have a car that actually has a backup camera. Something you may notice here is that all the trim looks really nice and deep black. That's because I used Cerakote ceramic trim coat on all the black plastics to make them look a lot nicer. I also ceramic coated the car with Cerakote, and it looks great. I just washed it, and I'm very happy with how this car looks so far. But you may notice something down there that I have to take care of. So this is something that I missed during the visual inspection. I didn't realize it until the day after I got home. I was so focused on checking for rust that I didn't notice this scrape. I have no idea where it came from, and it's down a bare metal. So next weekend I'm gonna sand this whole thing down, and you could see some slight paint cracking here. So I'm gonna sand the whole thing down to about here, and like right about there. Sand it down, obviously mask off the doors and everything, and repaint it white, and wet sand blend it in. That way I don't have to stare at this, because I now look at this every single time I get in my car, and it's really annoying because it's on the driver's side. Something that it bothered me with my mom's car, and I didn't think much of it until I got an older one. These trim panels look awful, and if you have slight oils on your fingers like I do right now, leaves fingerprints behind that are almost impossible to get out, and it really bothers me. So I'm actually going to get these gloss black covers that go over it like this, either that or vinyl, to make them look better. The higher end trims have a smart key. This has just a regular key with some buttons on it, and you stick it in the ignition to start it, and it came with two, which I'm very glad it did, because I did not want to buy a second key, which, by the way, you saw in one of my previous videos, I complained about how I'm gonna have to pay $500 for a Fiat key, and how I was gonna do that. I ended up not doing that. I still need to buy one. But getting inside, could you even tell the difference? I'll put up some pictures now of what one newer one looked like. I drove a 2022 with 54,000 miles on it, and this car is double the age and double the mileage. And unless I told you that, you probably wouldn't know. This car has been very well maintained, and I bought it private party, and the owner, who may or may not be watching this video, watches Mr. Subaru on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description to one of his videos down below, and he is an amazing Subaru mechanic, and I used a lot of his guides to inform me what to look for when buying this car. And when I helped my mom buy her Crosstrek, I looked around the car and made sure it was good mechanically. And so I'll put a link in the description down below for some of his videos. And so the previous owner did all the services that I thought he wasn't going to do, but he did. He did the transmission fluid and both differentials, which is great. So you now may wonder, how does it sound? It does sound slightly different from a stock one, and I will see if you guys can pick up on that. You can see this is the cluster that does not have eyesight, so it has a very basic screen. You can also see, unlike my mom's car, it does not have automatic climate control. It's very simple, not even a leather shift knob. That's pretty cool. I have no idea what that is. Anyway, take a listen. Yeah, I'll tell you what I did. So, I took the airbox off, and there is a silencer underneath the airbox. People call it the milk jug. Some people call it a snorkus. There's different names people like to call them. I took that off, and so from inside, windows up, you can barely tell it's there. You roll the windows down, and this thing sounds awesome with that off. It sounds great, and it's just the right pitch. I don't see a need to put a cold air intake on it and potentially lose a ton of horsepower, and I don't really see the need to put an exhaust on it for now. Maybe I'll put a nameless dual chamber 10-inch system later that's just barely a little louder than stock, because I really don't want this car to be loud at all. But that for now is good enough for me. You may have noticed in the background that tire pressure light's on. That turned on my way home, so one of the tire pressure sensors is dead. I think it's that one. GLE 43. Cool. Anyway, that turned on my way home. And so America's Tire told me that it was that tire. That's convenient. I've been living with this for the last 2.5 weeks or so I really don't care. And within those 2.5, actually 3 weeks now, I've put about 1,300 miles on it. And I'm almost at 100,000 miles. And I will show you something real quick. Yes, that's a Subaru hat. But here's my 100,000 mile badge. So that will be put on when this car hits 100,000 miles, which shouldn't be too soon from now. You may have noticed also, this dash cam, I got this a few months ago, and I was going to make an install video on it, but I did it on the Camry, and then I got rid of the Camry not that much longer. So I've yet to hardwire it, because I don't see an easy way to take some of these panels off. So I've yet to hardwire it. I basically have just plugged that in, routed it in there, bunched up the cable inside, and ran it up the glove box out like this, which is a bad way to do it. I will do it properly, hopefully next weekend. Let me show you under the hood. So, under the hood is the 2-liter FB20D, 152 horsepower, 148 pound-feet of torque, hooked up to a TR580, 7-speed, technically, 7-speed, CVT. It's really not that bad. I will put a 0 to 60 clip in a few seconds here, but it really does pick up well. And I love how easy this engine is to work on. It's just great. Let me put in a 0 to 60 clip for you guys. So, it's really not that bad on power. As I said earlier, I'm going to replace this front bumper. There's a few scrapes there. This thing doesn't like to hold all the time. Another scrape there. This front emblem is all chewed up, and I haven't found an easy way to take that emblem off. So you basically buy it with a grill, which most people do. And it's not perfect fitment, so there's a slight bulge out here and over here. And the car's been in one reported accident, but it was over there, and it was a minor accident to the rear bumper. I've also noticed this front bumper isn't perfectly color matched. I don't know how well it comes out on camera, but in a lot of angles, this bumper does not look right. So instead of repainting it, trying to blend it in, I might as well put the facelift front bumper on it and make this car look a lot newer. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that short video of this car. I will have a long form video on it soon. I'm a little busy at the moment, so I will not be making a long form video for a while, but I will eventually. So hopefully this short video will do enough for you. This is a reveal of the Impreza, and stay tuned on Instagram because that's where I'll be making about 95% of my posts. I won't be posting too much about this car on here, but you will see it on Instagram. So I'll put a link in the description down below for my Instagram, and stay tuned for the long form video on this Impreza. Hope you enjoyed it.